Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Blair Johnson with the Badass Records Podcast, welcoming you in for another episode. This week, I'm happy to welcome Ernie Yates of Stone Eagle. You can find their blues-inspired Southern stoner rock on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all of the streaming services. If you go there, you will find their EP, Backside of the Mountain from last year, plus Sirens, their single from April. Also, make sure to check out the Midwest Connection with Nick and Ernie. That is their online radio show on bicradio.com, Wednesdays at 8:30. Episodes of Badass Records Podcast air Thursdays, more often than not. Socials to keep tabs on the podcast are Twitter and Instagram. Everything lives on the website, badassrecordspodcast.com. And if you want to do an episode or recommend somebody that would be a good candidate, hit me up at badassrecordspodcast@gmail.com. I think that's all I got for you. Appreciate you stopping by. Hope you enjoy the show. Being here, I think that this will wind up being episode number 170 of Badass Records Podcast. Ernie Yates, pleasure to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Not too bad.
Stone Eagle.
Yes.
Stoner rock, Southern rock, blues-inspired band out of Kansas City. You're on vocals. Brett M. Taylor.
Yes.
On drums and vocals. Bradford Padley.
Yep.
Drums, or I'm sorry, bass.
Yes, bass.
Chris Schmidt on guitar, and Aaron Courtney is the chaos coordinator.
Yeah, that just means she babysits us at the sets at the
nice,
gigs. So.
Nice. So you guys have a Facebook page and at Stone_Eagle KC on Instagram. You got a Twitter. You're on Apple, Spotify. What else am I missing?
We're all streaming platforms.
All streaming.
Like 150 platforms out
there.
Damn.
Okay. Very cool. Backside of the Mountain, an EP from last year, plus Sirens.
Yes.
A single from April.
Yes, that's our newest release.
Cool. How long has the outfit been around?
In total, probably 6 years.
Okay.
But didn't really get going until about a year and a half ago. So
okay.
It was kind of just guys messing around for a long time, and COVID, a lot of stuff happened. So that but I would say about a year and a half. Seriously, we've been at it.
Very cool. So for the EP and the single. What does the writing process look like? Is one of the band members kind of the chief songwriter, or is it all kind of a group effort?
It's kind of mixed. We have had a guitar player change. The original guitar player was named Chris Stymack, and me and him started it originally. And when it was him and Brett, we didn't have a bass player for a long time. That's kind of what happened a year and a half ago that I say started was we got Brad, and we finally got our final piece, and everything kind of switched. But in the beginning days, it was Chris and Brett would just pretty much do a song and bring it to me, and then I would do vocals over it, and I would write over it, top writing. Since the switch, now we have Chris Schmidt. We have both Chris's, both with an S last name, but Chris Stymack. Now we have Chris Schmidt. Now it's more of a group effort. Like we Sirens just kind of happened. Like we sat down, he played a riff, and I actually started singing the chorus part over the verse, and then when I figured out it was wrong, and then it just kind of happened, and we went to his house and recorded it, and then went to the studio.
Okay. So the riff, he plays a riff, and the music piece kind of organically fills itself in from there.
Well, actually, let me represent this correctly, because I'm about to get in trouble. That song actually started to me in reverse. Brad brought a bass riff.
Okay.
And instead of just like a bass line that follows the guitar, the beginning of that song starts out with the bass doing his own riff and the guitar's doing a riff, and nobody's doing the same thing for a while. And so that one actually started out backwards, but then organically, yeah.
Okay.
Brad started playing. Chris hears something to it. Brett jumps on the drums, and then I'm usually the slow one because I don't know. That's when they're figuring it out. It's hard to do anything, so I kind of got to wait till they get almost done.
Sure.
And but.
So the music is written independently of the lyrics?
I would say 75% of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who's churning out those lyrics? Is it also a mix, or is it one person? Or
me, I'm 90% of the lyrics.
Okay.
Sirens is really the first time. It's gonna sound weird. It's not an ego thing. I feel weird. Like I try to put a lot of emotion in lyrics, and so if somebody else wrote them, it just feels weird. Like
that makes total sense.
Yeah,
to me.
like just.
So for the 90%, are you pencil and paper? Are you on a device? Are you how are you?
It's all mixed. Like I write some on paper, but to me the best ones they just kind of come out with the band, and they may come out not as the finished product, but like and then I'll go back to pen and paper and make it fit better and stuff.
Okay.
But
so
really both ways.
So if it just comes out, are you recording, or will you just remember it later, or?
Sometimes if it's good enough, we try to always record because
Sure.
we lost a lot of stuff in the past where we're like, remember what we did last week? And somebody would be like, no. And then, that was really good. But
I don't remember yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember how I got here. So, but no, so we do record most of the time now, so, something to go back to. But well, we've had a couple songs like Cupboard. That Cupboard and Sirens both just happened, but Sirens was a process. Cupboard, I came to practice, and I've been fighting with this girl, and wasn't really a girlfriend or nothing, but whatever they call it nowadays, situationship,
Yeah.
And I was just didn't want to be there. I was pissed off at the world. I was fed up. I was mad. They started playing this song, and bam, it just happened, and we wrote Cupboard in one shot.
Okay. Fun.
It got refined a little bit,
Sure.
but then there's other times like. Actually, right now we're writing a song called Deadwood.
Okay.
And this is the first time ever that I'm actually coming with lyrics 100% first and a vocal pattern, and then they're trying to write to me. So it's fun. It's a little different.
New.
Yeah. If it all works out, you get a lot more vocal freedom that way because
Sure.
I mean, you got to do whatever you wanted before there was music there.
Yeah.
So there's nothing but
Right on. So gigs. How often are you guys? How many gigs have you played roughly, and how often?
Man, it's all happened so fast. I would say the year and a half we've probably done 15.
Okay.
From St. Joe, Leavenworth, all over Kansas City. We played Vivo, Outlaw, Blips. Well, I'm drawing a blank. So many places. The Bowery, and.
Did you book that one with Jamie Searle?
I didn't.
Okay.
That was actually a Amber Doling show.
Okay.
Phoenix Rising Productions.
Okay.
And
cool.
She booked us
Nice.
on her deal. So,
Very cool.
Yeah.
What about anything future-wise in summertime gigs coming up, or?
Right now, we kind of have unplanned, unwanted, but maybe necessary break.
Okay.
We all have a problem saying no, like I said earlier, with projects. Brett's in two bands, a drummer.
Okay.
He plays bass in Working Class Criminals, another local Kansas City band, really good band. Brad is... We don't know how many projects he's got complete because he won't tell us all because we'll yell at him. But he's got another band called Reality Becomes, really good band locally. And Chris Schmidt, and Brad's also in a country band called, what is it? They do covers. It's I'll come back to it.
Sure, yeah.
But Chris Schmidt's in a really big popular cover band called Blue Oyster Culture Club.
Oh, fun.
And
sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're from St. Joe.
Okay.
They don't play as much as they used to, but there for a while they were selling out like 5,000 people arenas.
Really?
As a cover band, St.
Wow.
Joe. Yeah.
Okay.
And He will tell you though the next year there was only 12 people there. So, but yeah, they were a big thing for a while, and he's got solo stuff, and the way the shows fell, like everybody was like, well, I'll save a couple weekends for Stone Eagle, my other project, but it's Brad's got a show, then the next weekend Brad's got a show, then the next weekend. So we don't really have anything till August or September.
Okay.
The biggest thing that we're excited the most about isn't announced yet, so we can't really
Fair enough.
talk about it.
Yeah.
If it happens, it's a big deal.
Cool.
It's a 4-day camping festival locally.
Nice.
But we have a Fike Fest in, I think, September 16th. That's in Kearney, Nebraska. That's our first road trip.
Fike.
Fike Fest, Fecht.
Okay.
Actually, I should check that. 'Cause,
What is that?
I'm not playing dumb here. I'm just dumb. It's a festival. I don't really know the history of it. We just got asked. Again, it was Amber Doling. She's really helped us a lot getting shows and stuff. She's awesome. Yeah, Phoenix Rising Productions. Her husband plays in Burn the Gates. This just came out today. They released this. So it's got to be a multiple day deal because there's quite a bit of bands.
Fike Fest, the party after. Oh, these are band names. Okay.
Nice. I got a list of bands around Kansas City and other places that I want to play with. And
Stony Doom.
Yeah, Stony Doom's going to be there.
Stony Doom has been here, episode 85.
Oh, hell yeah, them dudes are cool. Yeah. They got a podcast too going.
Do they really?
420 Room or something? 420? I can't. They're going to be mad at me, but.
I'm sure my invite to be on that podcast is in the mail.
I mean, to remind him if I see him.
I'm just teasing. Is when the booking of gigs is happening, is one person in the band shouldering that themselves, or is it a mix? Or
it's been kind of. I will say I haven't done much. I mean, we had a birthday show for me in January that I had a lot to do with, but other than that, it's been. Chris and Brett and Brad are all way more seasoned, way more experienced.
Sure.
With I've been a singer all my life, but I was in a band for like 9 months, 10 years ago.
Right.
And so all this is brand new to me. So
okay.
I kind of know the names of got stuff, but that's about as far as I know.
Sure. And you said Sirens was recorded in somebody's basement.
Well, no. Originally, Sirens was recorded over at Chris's house.
Okay.
Just as the capture it moment.
Right.
But we actually recorded that at oh my gosh.
It's okay. It's all right. Yes,
Justin Mantus, the engineer.
Okay.
It's West End Studio.
West End Studio.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And the EP, backside of the mountain.
Yep. It was also at West End. Yep.
Okay. What was that process like? Was it fun? Was it annoying? Was it all over the place?
It was all of the above.
Okay.
Again, being so new and not really knowing what to expect, the first time was just a bunch of nerves for no reason.
Of course.
I went in there like, oh, is my voice good? Am I going to blah, blah, blah? And then I realized this is the one time it doesn't matter because I can just do it until it is. So.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
But, yeah, all of the above.
Okay.
But we've been 3 times. We did 1 song the first time and then 3. And then we did 2 songs this last time. A song called Special Angel that's not out yet because we're going to try to do a lyric video or something to give it more traction when it comes out.
Yeah.
Because we've noticed he's put a Spotify link out there or something. Facebook doesn't seem to like that. They don't like the cross promotion.
I had a dude, James Inman. He's kind of a stand-up comic in a former life, but could probably plug himself back in. He did an episode with me and mentioned at some point he was going to share it on Facebook, but he would have to put everything in the comments because Facebook doesn't want you to leave Facebook. So it doesn't like YouTube clips and so on and so forth. And I'm like, it makes sense. But anyway.
They especially don't like Spotify. I don't know why, but
really?
If you check, I'll check our analytics and our demographics and stuff, and it'll show you how many views.
Yeah.
I can literally go on there and post hey, I farted, it stinks, and it gets 700 views. I'll post something music related with a Spotify link, and it have 20.
Huh.
And we kind of have a theory that once they know you're trying to promote something, the algorithms want you to pay, and so
Sure.
they lower down your viewership and then try to say the boost stuff, to
Right.
pay for it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I have, there is a Spotify playlist that's upwards of 600 albums and just tons and tons of hours.
no,
And it's added to, and I used to listen to it literally 24/7, 365. It would just be playing through a speaker in my kitchen. And it is a really, really good source of music that I haven't heard of. And if I come across something that sounds cool, then I add it to the streaming service that I do pay for. And, when Spotify, when you do your year-end thing happens.
yeah.
Like I was literally like, it would call me an astronaut and say you're one of the 1% that it's so many. I'm like, well, yeah, because the thing plays. And then something changed, and this I don't pay for Spotify, so I get ads, right?
Yeah.
And if I go to something on Spotify, I can only access it via shuffle.
It's where you have to listen to what they want first.
Well, I like if it's a playlist and I go to that playlist in Spotify, I can listen to it, but it's not. I can't listen to it in the order that it was curated in.
Right.
So something changed. And it started pausing, like in an ad, and if I would, and so it threw that source of joy completely out the window, and I discovered that if I would back out of Spotify for a couple or 3 days and then go back in there, I could do it again, but it always would start with the same song, and so I started hearing that song. Anyway, it's like if you come across a loophole within these algorithms, enjoy it, because it's going to get detected at some point, right?
Yeah.
And they're hey, this guy's not paying. Fucking changes, But nerves for no reason the first time you went in the studio. What about when you get on stage? Are you nervous a little bit, or
it's really getting better?
Good.
Well, the first show. Well, I'm learning a lot more too. The first show, I almost quit. The sound guy wasn't a sound guy. Come to find out, it was a place called High Top Lounge up in St. Joe.
Okay.
It's a smoke-friendly bar.
Okay.
It's a private club.
Sure.
And so there's no drinking, but everybody in there is like, the whole place is just. So whether you're smoking or not, by the time you set in there for 3 hours before your set, everybody's just baked. Like,
right.
The whole place is just full of, weed smoke. So, and their sound guy, come to find out, it was his first night. He never ran a board before. And he literally had us on stage so bad on the monitors, we were feeding back.
Ooh.
So I thought it was the most horrible thing, and we bombed, and there was actually some people there. And so I was literally out sitting on the tailgate of a U-Haul we rented to haul the gear up there.
Shit.
We had to learn that was a mistake, too. That was very expensive. There's easier ways to do that.
Yeah.
But I was done. I was like, that was horrible. And then when I watched the video, luckily what was going out to the crowd wasn't like what was coming back at us.
Sure.
But yeah, after that, like that was the first show with this band, and
that's probably a good problem to have on your first show, because it gives you a sort of it can't necessarily get any worse than that.
Yeah, kind of.
In terms of trying to keep your composure and not act like something's bothering you. We're here for a reason. I got to get through this.
Yeah, because I was pointing at the monitor because I thought it was a real sound guy, and here's honestly, I don't know what I'm doing either. So
this guy keeps pointing at his shoe.
I'm pointing at the monitor, and it's feeding back, and then he had the drummer so loud in my monitor that when Brett started singing it, like I just stopped singing.
Oh shit!
But I will say it was a good thing that it was recorded though, because if I would have went home that night thinking that everybody else heard what we heard on stage, I don't know if I'd have won.
Right.
We definitely took it a break. I just said we need more practice before we go back out there. But after that show, we didn't have to ask for a show, and just bam, 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 bam.
Wow.
And
nice.
We were everywhere. So
that's cool.
Not everywhere, but it felt like that to us because we went
many more places than you were before that show. Yeah. Cool. So are you born and raised in the area?
Yes.
Okay. Siblings?
Yes, I had 2 sisters.
Okay. Any idea how mom and dad met?
Not really. I mean, I know just small town life. Like,
Sure.
my dad was in a band and played sock hops. I know he played shows in Lone Jack, where my mom's from.
Okay.
And so I think there's kind of a story there, but
Sure.
basically just towns with below 300 people.
Yeah.
And everybody.
2 sisters. Where are you in the?
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest. Yep. Okay. When you were young, was there music being played in the home to listen to?
Weirdly enough, I have this discussion a lot with people because I don't seem to fit the typical musician from the city. Growing up the way I did, we put 61 country in mom's car.
Okay,
that was it.
Yeah,
and we're talking. I was born in '78.
Okay,
so we're talking no internet.
Yeah,
we're talking there ain't no record stores.
Right.
I don't think 99 even existed yet. So we had AM 1030 once we got a little older in the mornings, like on Saturday or Sunday, what it was. But
sure,
for the most part, until like that's when I sent you the albums I sent you.
Yeah,
it's not that those are my favorite albums, but those are the albums that I finally discovered anything more than 61 Country and Paul Harvey.
Gotcha.
And so
okay, Paul Harvey. Yeah,
that's why they meant so much to me.
Yeah.
Is because
he's not he. Well, Paul Harvey content here in the last couple weeks is all of a sudden in my TikTok algorithm, and it's I can't say what the video footage, if it's somebody that's taken audio clips and putting it to, but they all start with him saying, "And here's the rest of the story." Yeah. And then he tells it, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I was a little bitty kid. I'd lay on my grandparents' floor and listen to Paul Harvey.
Yeah. My dad.
I used to be impatiently waiting the rest of the story.
Yeah. My dad was a big Paul Harvey dude way back when, but for a good little bit, early 80s anyway, my mom only had AM, and so it was just 71 WHB, all oldies all the time.
Yep.
So I got super familiar with all of the oldies. Recently, a year or so ago, was telling that story, and it made me curious about the history of that radio station. I looked it up. Do you know what WHB stands for?
I guess I know.
World's Happiest Broadcasters. I just thought it was like call letters. The whole time.
Like Washington Heights Bureau or something weird. I don't
know. So 61 Country in mom's car. And did you catch any live shows as a young person or as a teenager?
No. State Fair.
State Fair, sure.
I think I seen like Alan Jackson maybe with my parents.
Sedalia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really, really. And this conversation, I have to explain this a lot because you know how music guys are. They grew up like in the scene and hanging out at the record stores. They're like arguing which guitar the third guitar player is from the second generation. And I don't even know the band they're talking about.
Right, yeah.
All the time I have to be like, hey, I'm not picking on your guy. I just don't know who he is.
Right.
But
so you said you've been a singer all your life. How far back does that reach?
I mean, I remember singing in like elementary school, getting solos and choir and stuff.
Cool.
So like it wasn't ever like structured. It was just I just sang.
Right.
So I call myself always been a singer. It wasn't like I performed always or
sure.
Just always did it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Did you ever dabble with any instruments or?
I play guitar. I kind of produce some too, but I don't really consider that, But bad thing is I cut my pinky off.
Okay.
And that's as much as it bends now.
Okay. How did that happen?
My ex-wife was backing a pickup up to a trailer, and I got impatient, and she couldn't get it backed up straight. So I tried to pull the trailer over, and it made it jump the block, and literally the lip of the trailer and the ball, yeah.
That was a mistake for me to ask that question.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds awful.
I got pictures, too. No,
oh, my God.
It was brutal. I knew instantly, and she got out, and I had gloves on, and that's the only reason he was like still standing straight up. And I said, I could already feel it. And I was like, listen, when I take this off, it's going to be bad. And when I took my glove off, it just went tunk.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was. But they put some metal in there, and they put it back on.
Okay.
But here's the crazy part. Now, this is it. A lot of people call me totally insane for this. This is not a lie. This is not exaggeration. When I try to play now, I have to hold it back out of the way because it's dead. It's in the way. And you see that tendon right there?
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Huh.
So I never was a good guitar player, but I could definitely play and sing. And I had
acoustic.
Yeah,
okay.
I did both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I collected guitars. And literally about the time I got good enough to perform, this happened.
Damn.
But I tell people all the time that if I could find a doctor that would do it or the safe way to remove it, I would rather not have it.
Because it's just in the way?
It's in the way.
Damn.
If it was going right there and I didn't have to hold it back, it wouldn't pull the tendons in my hand and I could still chord.
Okay.
And playing guitar is really worth more to me than a dead pinky.
Yeah. Fair.
But I didn't know that. If I'd have thought of it, if I'd have known now, the old adage, if I'd have known then what I know now,
yeah.
I would have told him I lost it,
right.
and we wouldn't have reconnected it.
Are you right-handed or left?
Right-handed, yes.
Okay,
so
okay.
It's my chord hand.
Yeah. Other things in life that it interferes with?
I mean, it makes everything harder, just like not bad. It's not a,
right.
But.
Did this happen out where you live now, near where you live now?
It actually happened in my backyard.
And how far were you from help?
We're probably only 40 minutes from hospital. But I jumped in the pickup and I drove to the fire department in Pleasant Hill.
Really?
And just went, yeah, I do it all the time. If we're injured bad or.
The fire department?
Yeah, because the ambulance is there. So that's the first. By the time you call out in the country and they drive to you.
Do that.
Yeah, I go straight to the fire department and then they kind of triage you.
Sure.
And maybe this is only a small town.
Sure.
But if it's something not bad, they'll treat you and you can go home.
Wow.
They'll put a Band-Aid on it and be like, better have it looked at. Or if it's bad, they throw you right in the ambulance and then you go under treatment. So that's, yeah.
I lived in Georgia for a short spell as a young kid and had it seemed like I was good for a quasi-serious accident once a year. And one of those, my mom, I guess, drove me to the emergency room and we parked next to this couple. And I remember, whether it was to take my seatbelt off or reach over and unlock the door or whatever, I glanced in this car and the two of them were just white as sheets.
Oh.
Like they had kind of just pulled in at the same time. And so we're getting out and they're getting out and she's driving and he's in the passenger seat and some frantic shuffling and they get him out of the car and he's got his hand just completely bandaged. And then she produces a bowl.
Oh.
That's got there's ice in there and I'm pretty sure all four of his fingers.
Damn.
And they were, I was like, and I didn't see anything gruesome or whatever, but I was like,
but enough. You got the subtitles.
Yeah, exactly. So the producing thing, you produce a little bit as well. Does that mean you could put out somebody else's record for them? Is that what you meant by that?
No, I mean, I could take a little computer stuff and I made some backing tracks that I used to sing to, solo stuff before I had an outlet.
Gotcha. Right on. Yeah. Cool. Well, again, man, I appreciate you being here, and I'm eager to jump into your albums. Normally, we'll hit them oldest one first, unless you'd rather approach it a different way. Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
So if we're doing that, we're starting in 1989 with Nirvana's Bleach, which is one of three for them, 11 tracks, 37 minutes. The debut out of Aberdeen, Washington, didn't initially chart, I learned, but Nevermind's success prompted a reissue, and it becomes much more popular.
Yes.
And obviously an important piece of their 3-record discography.
Yep.
Tell me about the relationship between Ernie Yates and Bleach.
Well, I actually found Bleach a little late, just, like we were talking about before.
Yep.
And I don't even know how I found it. But In Utero was out, and I kind of liked it, and it was all the rage at the time.
Right.
But it was so different than everything else from my limited exposure, like from the hair bands and the 80s scenes, that it didn't really do it for me. But when I got a hold of Bleach, it
In Utero didn't really do it for you.
I mean, it did, but in a different way, more like a radio. Like, Bleach was just so, hey, this is,
in
your
face.
Yeah. I mean,
underground.
He wasn't a very good guitar player, I mean, it was nasty. It was dirty, sloppy, but I loved it. I ate it up. I didn't understand the lyrics, dull steak, no, that's in Utero, actually. But, just, it was different enough to, it wasn't, to actually kind of pull me over a little bit.
Sure. So, how did you come across it? Was it a physical copy? Was it?
It was definitely a physical copy because we're talking
CD.
It would have been a CD.
Okay. Did you buy it? Did you borrow it? Did you hear it at your buddy's house?
It would have been probably a borrow, or we used to swap. We're talking Kingsville, Missouri.
Yeah.
320 people. Still no internet. So, whoever's parents would take them to the mall on the weekend, and they could go in and buy a couple things. Then we'd come back and, we'd burn it off and,
sure,
just whatever we could do. But that was literally what we were limited to, so.
Yeah.
It was probably Chris Steinbeck, the original guitar player.
Okay.
Because he turned me on to a lot of stuff.
Oh, dang. You guys go way back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was a little older and he had a car. And so.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll tell you, this is a little side story, but I wish I knew the name of it. But he had like a mixtape from California.
Okay.
That was like up and coming bands had got together and put out this collaboration
cool.
album. And it was on cassette. That's how old it was.
Yeah.
And that's the first time we heard Korn.
Oh, yeah.
Blind was on there. And
okay.
so I can't remember any other bands on there, but halfway through it was like Korn. It was like, whoa, being from Kingsville, Missouri. It was like, what is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and then from Nirvana, literally bought my first guitar.
Okay.
Started playing Nirvana songs was the first stuff I started learning because...
Just teaching yourself?
Yes.
Nice.
Ended up, another weird story, being a singer, this kind of schooling I had, we had a choir class, a male choir, and I'm a singer, so I signed up. Well, we get in there, and there's one singer and just 8 dudes looking for a credit. And so we're like 3 weeks in, and nobody sung a note but me. And the teacher's name was Marty Breeze, and he was an independent musician. And he had put out an album back in the 80s and stuff. And so we got talking to him, and he was like, let's just give up on the choir thing. Teach us how to play guitar. So he went to the school board, come back, we had a guitar class. And so we all went and got little Stratocaster starter packs.
Yeah.
Except for my buddy, Brian Collins.
Okay.
And Brian, if you ever see this, you still have this guitar. I still want it. we had no clue what was going on, but the teacher obviously knew being a lifelong musician. Brian walks in with his uncle's guitar from the closet. It's like a 59 Tobacco Burst Les Paul.
That's a nice guitar.
That's like a $50,000-$60,000 guitar. And it was just on the back of this kid's closet. And he brought it in, and I'll never forget, like, Marty Breeze, like, walked across the room like he'd seen the Holy Grail and took it and was like, what are you? Yeah, and he called his parents up there, and, yeah, they still got it.
Nice.
I still know Brian. So.
Nice. So, 61 Country in Mom's car is more or less it, music listening-wise, until right around the time that you discover this?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, nothing against them, but my sisters listened to some stuff that kind of turned me away from, what I was used to.
Sure.
I never was a late hair band era guy.
Right.
I still don't like a lot of that stuff.
Right.
I know guys will skin me for that, but I don't. It's just not my thing.
No, it wasn't mine either.
If the 90s thing never would have happened, I would probably be still, 104 country or whatever it is nowadays.
Sure,
but,
yeah.
it was literally Nirvana, Kurt, and then Soundgarden and Chris Cornell.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's led me to a lot of places. I still don't have a real big musical. Like, this is horrible. Like, I don't know what you're into, but I knew like 2 Corrosion of Conformity songs.
Okay.
And I didn't have any clue they had the following. And now I judge, like, if somebody's a real musician, like if someone's telling me blah, 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 I was like, oh, yeah, what do you think of COC? Even though I didn't know who they were, you know, but.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm still learning. And it's.
Of course.
It's interesting, like on our little internet radio show we do, I pick the songs.
Yeah, tell me about, I wrote it down and I already forgot where I wrote it. I just wrote internet radio show. Give me the deets on that again.
It's called The Midwest Connection.
The Midwest Connection.
The Midwest Connection with Nick and Ernie. It's on bicradio.com. I don't know if I told you a little bit before, but I don't know. It just fell in our lap. A guy who was a fan of Stone Eagle, who's a DJ, was playing our stuff, the Hillbilly and Hester show out of California. And I posted on Facebook that I was going to be DJing at a bar, and I meant like karaoke, you know, like I hook up my sound system, I let people sing through my stuff, and I make a little extra money. And he goes, oh, you're a DJ too? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, do you want to do a radio show? No clue what, you know, that entailed, but sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so I called a buddy, Nick Nöthing, a local music legend around here. He hosts a streaming show just on Facebook and stuff called Fadely Live.
Okay.
Where he's got his basement is a complete green screen.
Oh, okay.
And full studio, drums, everything, and bands come play live, and then he streams them and, you know, interviews them while they play and stuff. And so I just met him at our first Kansas City show, and so yeah, I called him up, and we've been going now for 6 months.
Okay.
Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, same time?
Yep, 8:30 to, well, it was 8:30 to 11, but we're working on shortening that because I'm going to try to get home before 1:30.
Sure.
Yeah, but
so you got to go somewhere to do it.
Yeah, it's all at Nick's house because of the streaming stuff.
Yeah.
We could do the radio show anywhere, and my living room is actually a studio. I mean, I got, you know, I haven't got my isolation booth I built for vocals, but the streaming stuff I don't have a clue with, and he has us on YouTube, Facebook. We were on TikTok, but we got kicked off.
Weird.
I don't know if I should tell you why. Really weird.
Please do if
they flagged us for hate speech.
Oh, okay.
So we go back and watched. As far as we can tell, we were calling each other fat and ugly. We do it every episode.
Yeah, I could see it.
It was our first TikTok, and we've never had any problem anywhere else.
Sure.
And trust me, I scoured the show. I was like, did somebody, you know, something get misconstrued? There was nothing other than us calling each other fat and ugly and old.
Yeah.
And like teasing each other.
Yeah.
And
I said this a while back. So I commented on a post and said something like "kick rocks," or it seemed just, you know, and I'm, you know, whatever 2024 2023 like mindful of, you know, I don't want, you know, anyway. I was like, yeah, this, and immediately it was like, you've been flagged for community violence. Like, what? What?
Yeah, exactly.
And I had to like dig to. I was like, okay, so I got to be blander than kick rocks. Oh, all right.
Like, how do you offend somebody with kick rocks? I don't get it.
It's like telling somebody to go fly a kite. You know, like it's.
But then I wonder, is like, is it just because I'm not real bright and kick rocks really comes from this horrible definition? But you know,
So. Wednesday nights, 8:30 to 11:30.
Yep, 8:30 to 11.
8:30 to 11. The internet radio station name again
is bicradio.com.
bicradio.com, and your show is called
The Midwest Connection.
The Midwest Connection.
And we have a Facebook page and the Bikers Inner Circle Facebook page. It's got a couple 100,000 followers. They got a link on it. That's the best way to go.
Okay.
And the internet radio show does have BIC Radio has its own chat room, so we can chat with you during the show.
Oh, fun. Nice. So you got to go there because he's doing the streaming piece. Choosing what you're playing. Are you putting that together ahead of time? We kind of put together a couple lists, that I'm pulling off of.
I do have a list that I told Nick. We're kind of goofy on our show.
Sure.
So if this, you can cut stuff out if it's too bad, right? We have a segment of the show we call the unsolicited Nick pick.
Nice. I like it.
And it's it's when I pick songs off Nick's list.
Sure.
Because he didn't get to pick nothing. So
right.
But and it's all over the place. We literally play everything from Whiskey Dick, Acid Bath to Sepultura. Like, I mean, it's all over the place.
Okay.
Like, at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, the last hour, that's the Viagra hour.
Nice.
That's when we get hard.
There you go. There you go. I like it. It's
a good time. But
and so when you're choosing the cuts you're going to play, what is the medium that's putting the song? Like, how are you? Where are you searching for these songs?
It all runs through DJ software, which is probably why I got offered. Looking back, now that I know how it works, I can't remember which one it is. I actually use a different one when I DJ. I use PC DJ, and this is But anyway, it's just a DJ program, but they're teamed up with Deezer. And so we paid the prescription for the DJ program, and that's broadcast you. Okay. And then in their search deal, they've got Deezer, and so anything that's on Deezer, we can legally play on the show.
Which means, most stuff is going to be findable.
Yeah, we looked. Deezer has like 60 million songs. It's got like 20 more than Spotify. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had problems finding stuff. Like their catalog is so big, like you got to search it sometimes just right, or like I won't be able to find stuff by artists. I'll have to go back and then search it by song or something, and it'll come up. But yeah, like everything's pretty much on there.
Nice. Very cool. Awesome. So from Nirvana's Bleach in '89, just a 5-year leap forward to Soundgarden's Superunknown from '94. This is 4 of 6 for them, 15 tracks, 70 minutes. We stay in the state of Washington. This one really blew them up. Yes. And not that grunge needed a push at that point, but it did it nonetheless, I think. Why is this one special for you?
That's who I wanted to sound like.
Okay.
That's
okay.
Chris Cornell's the ultimate.
Hell yeah.
Like, that's my vocal style. That's who I
Nice. Now, does that mean you have range enough to hit the high notes in Say Hello to Heaven, for example?
On the perfect day, maybe.
Okay.
Not all the time.
Okay.
Actually, it's an Audio Slave song that I practice with, Shadow of the Sun.
Okay.
That note.
Nice.
I don't even know what it is. It's B sharp or higher. But that's the one I use to try to stretch myself with.
And I was assuming when I asked that you're familiar with the Temple of the Dog record.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, no, he's got some notes that they're up there. I definitely don't have that range.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know that if I've ever met anybody that does, I didn't learn that they had the range.
They might not have known if
maybe the original Chris, if I'm recalling correctly, was a little bit older and had a car, and so Bleach, you get a loner for a moment with Bleach. Any difference in how Superunknown comes your way? By
then, there was a little bit more radio stuff. And they were, Bleach wasn't really on the radio.
Nah.
And
I mean, this has Black Hole Sun, Spoon Man,
all the everything. You know what? I'm not real good at knowing what's even on which album because.
Well, trying to read my writing probably isn't going to help you a whole lot.
Well, it's not even like that. I don't even know if I ever
know songs by their title.
Well, that's a big part of it.
Okay,
but also, this is bad, but even with my favorites, there wasn't very many albums that I was a full album guy.
Sure.
I'm more of a cherry picker. Like
it's totally fine.
So
once Bleach is a thing that grabs you. Did it make you? Did it alter your opinion at all of Nevermind or In Utero?
It did.
Okay.
It did. Just learning more about music and stuff, I kind of understood the difference between. Well, that was their not really their garage album, but that was their raw, unsigned.
Yep.
Hey, here we are. We just threw this together, and of course everything else was more polished, signed label stuff. But then when it got a little older, and it still wouldn't even be YouTube because we were watching Rage Against the Machine on VHS tapes,
right?
Like once you got to see them live, some videos of them live and stuff, like you realize that In Utero wasn't even In Utero live. Like they didn't play it like that.
Right. Right.
Nirvana never played what you heard on the radio, except it,
Right. Is it grimier?
Grimier,
edgier?
dirtier.
Yeah.
They had a guy that used to hide off stage who'd actually play guitar because Kurt couldn't even play most of the songs.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And later on, he was in the band. I can't remember his name right now.
I'm
drawing more blanks than I. But yeah, he used to stand
all
on
good.
stage and.
Okay.
He'd play, and if you watch Kurt, he'll stop playing, and it doesn't.
So, in that same vein, is Superunknown your introduction to Soundgarden?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Black Hole Sun on the radio would have been.
Have you since looked elsewhere in their catalog? Have you listened to older stuff or newer stuff, or?
Not a lot, and this. Actually, just had this conversation on Facebook the other day with John Ellison from Copper Still.
Okay.
It's probably a very unhealthy or very unpopular opinion, but I was more of an Audit Slave.
Right.
Temple of the Dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even Temple of the Dog, that would be more radio stuff, just what I heard. But
sure.
That first Audio Slave album, that album I listened to on repeat.
Okay.
The whole album.
I'm surprised you didn't include it then.
Well, I mean, I was just, like I said, it's not that these are even my favorite albums. They were just monumental and.
That's part of the criteria. Favorite, monumental, inspirational, go-to, whatever,
Well, this one especially, the Soundgarden, because Black Hole Sun and. Oh, yeah. We had MTV by then.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was sitting there seeing the video, like, where were you watching that, dude? Yeah. MTV.
Yeah. The Spoon Man video was huge.
Yes. Huge. Yeah.
Not to mention, I mean,
follow me into the desert.
I mean the sound, sonically, but also the video for Hunger Strike. I mean, it was just like, holy shit, man, this is wild.
Yeah.
I haven't really given it due diligence. I kind of just poked quickly here and there into Mother Love Bone.
Yep.
Did you ever check them out?
Yep.
Did it scratch an itch for you?
I mean, some, but really, I would say instead of more of like an artist fan at this time, like that turned me on to Chris, but
yeah,
I took so much music right then from like the whole. I mean, and I like weird stuff like Silverchair. I love Silverchair. I'll still listen to Silverchair today. Everything from the Dead Presidents, like it was just Weezer all over the spectrum.
Yeah,
And
now was there a third outfit that, or beyond Soundgarden and Audio Slave? Was there another thing that Cornell was in? I'm probably
Temple of the Dog, Audio Slave.
I'm probably confusing him with somebody else.
I'm not real sure, but he has solo stuff. Like there's a lot of just Chris Cornell songs.
Yeah. Okay. And man, even there's content, of him, in a studio, black and white, doing Nothing Compares to You.
I love covering that song. That's one of my favorite.
Oh, cool.
I love his version of that song.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Nice.
And Nearly Forgot My Broken Heart. That's just a Chris Cornell title. That's one of my favorite all-time songs.
Cool.
But this is what I meant when I get around what I call real music people. Like they know all this stuff, and
that's
I'm like,
not a thing, man.
I'm like, I like this song and that song, but
that doesn't, if somebody has a a piece of information, or what? It doesn't make him more of a music person than you.
I just have to bow out because they'll be like, "Would you like it when you had the third bassist on the second album?" And I'm like, "How many albums they have?"
Who are we talking about again?
Yeah, I like that song.
So, what are some other artists that have influenced the Stone Eagle sound, or the other guys in the Stone Eagle sound?
I would say blues, definitely. Just a lot of blues. The original guitar player was a lot of Black Sabbath.
Okay.
Brad, I don't really know what to say for Brad. Brad's he's different. Like, he doesn't like play standard bass parts. He plays, and Chris, I would say a lot of COC and a lot of metal, stuff like that.
Sure.
Clutch is real big for all of us.
Yeah.
Seamless. Like Chris Schmidt's like one of the guys. He's a music guy. Like they got like a 400 song catalog.
Wow.
In his cover band. So like,
Okay.
for him, I would say everything. Literally,
Yeah, sure.
but everything.
Yeah.
But,
so do you think does any of those early 61 country, does any of the country stuff spill into what you do?
Definitely.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that until we went to the studio. This was actually an older band that I was in for just a short time years ago, but we went to the studio, and the studio guy, Nick Nöthing, and it stuck for a while. He called me Redneck Danzig.
That sounds like a compliment to me.
I mean, I didn't even know Danzig was, to tell you the truth.
Sure.
I was like, what do you mean redneck? Who's that? But anyway, I heard myself, and yeah, there's definitely
Very
some twang and some soul and some probably a little Chris Stapleton influence in
Right
Stone
on.
Eagle. Because, I mean, you never gonna get that out of you. When you grew up John Anderson, like.
Sure.
But.
Well, cool, man. So I got a series of goofy questions I'm going to pepper you with, and we'll wrap and get you out of here.
Cool.
So the first one, you get to have lunch with any one of your choosing, dead or alive. Who's it going to be and why?
Oh, man. How serious you want to get?
I mean, as serious as you're comfortable being.
I lost both of my children 5 years ago.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Go in a car accident. I didn't want to bring that up, to tell you the truth, but that question, like, them, 100%.
Wow. The pinky injury, was the gal, was that their mom?
Yep.
Okay. Holy shit, man. I'm sorry.
And I really wasn't going to bring that up. Like, I got nervous when you started talking about siblings and stuff. And
Oh, I didn't. That's a great answer, and you don't need to tell me the why. I can't even imagine. So the second one is if we can pretend or imagine that we all have a personal and a professional bucket list. You're given all the necessary resources to go knock out your number one on both. What are those number ones?
Well, for me, it's just one.
Okay, and
Because
sometimes
if I was a professional, I just want to go on tour. I mean, if that's what you mean.
yes.
Like, yeah, I want to go. I want to take the band on tour.
Cool.
And
Very cool.
do that part of it and experience that and have that have the passion be the profession and
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
get to enjoy them combined. I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. You're given the opportunity to visit your past self at any age you're choosing. What age are you choosing, and what are you saying?
I'd probably go way young. Oh, that's a good question. I'd probably tell him to say fuck them more.
Can you tell younger you to say fuck it more or fuck
Just fuck them. Tell them fuck off more, I guess.
Like folks, the man who are
just life in general.
okay.
Just so much stuff that as a young man I thought was so important that I wasted time and energy and shit on that really didn't matter to a hill of beans. So
I hear that.
Yeah, just focus on you, youngster. That's what I would say.
You're familiar with the television show Fear Factor?
Yes.
So in said show, it's kind of early reality TV, and you got to do gross things to win a challenge or whatever the thing is. This is not for TV. This is real life, and you're at A and you want to get to B, but in the middle is your worst case scenario, heebie-jeebies, willies, creeps, but you got to get to point B. What is that thing?
I probably have a personal one, but right now, because you said Fear Factor, all I can think about is when they eat them rotten duck eggs with a duck head side. Have you seen that episode?
I never actually watched the show.
Oh, it's.
I just knew that people would have to like lay in a coffin with spiders or whatever.
Like that's all good, but like I got an oral thing. Like I can't eat gross stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Like I can't even go fishing without washing my hands. My hands stink. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's like some rotten French duck eggs. And I mean bones and all, beaks, the whole little head, the whole little duck's in there, and it's rotten and like aged. And then they crack them open.
Delicacy for somebody?
Yeah, Google French duck delicacy. Exactly. Like, ugh.
Wow. But the fact that they're rotten, you're at risk of getting sick. Who knows?
It's beyond my pay grade there, but it's disgusting. And just watching, like, there's contestants on there who you've seen them already do some really nasty stuff, and then they get to the duck and they're just, they can't do it. So,
oh God.
But you know what? At this point in my life, probably personally, there's not much.
Right.
I mean, there may be something in the way that I couldn't do.
Sure.
But they not gonna stop me.
Yeah.
I mean,
last
anyway.
Last but not least, please complete this for me. The world would immediately become a better place in which to live if only
we mind our own business.
Ooh, all great answers. That one's good too. So Ernie Yates, Stone Eagle, is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Apple, Spotify, and all of the other streaming platforms. Best place for folks to keep their finger on the pulse of what Stone Eagle is doing.
Probably the Facebook page or the Instagram.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Any other plugs?
Not right offhand.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll probably think of like something I should have said on the way home. But,
sure. Is there anything that you had hoped that we would cover that we didn't?
I mean, no, not really. I mean,
okay.
I wasn't sure what to expect.
Right.
And,
right.
Especially since I've recently started interviewing people myself with no experience. I really didn't know what to expect being over here. Because
where's that happening? On
the Midwest Connection.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you're not just playing tunes.
No, it's kind of an animal all of its own. It's like we've had a UFC fighter on. We had a veteran who wanted to come on and talk about PTSD and his experience in Baghdad, and we got Morgan on tomorrow.
That was the last piece I was going to say. Morgan Agason from episode 166. She, as soon as we wrapped, wrote a list of folks, and there it is. Ernie Yates.
There we go.
Lead guy of Stone Eagle.
Morgan has been. We met Morgan. I believe it was our first Kansas City show. Yeah, at Blips.
Okay.
Vanessa Hodges' show. Vanessa put it on, and
she's on the list too.
Yeah, Vanessa put that show on. She's been on our show.
Okay.
And they had live painting. I didn't even know what live painting was.
Same. I was like, you're painting in front of people, like
during the show, and like you can. Not to sound corny, but I've sit back and watched how different bands kind of change her. Like I think she's literally, taking the music as inspiration for what she's doing.
For sure.
She painted at Outlaw one time, and it's this little cowboy hat skeleton that's just so, I don't know how to put that. Like, if 99% of the people in the world painted it, it'd just be so, just a skeleton with a cowboy hat on. But just, I don't know, something about it. Like, a bunch of buddies bought copies and stuff, and she painted a couple shows we were at, and literally promoters, like multiple people have like messaged, yeah, she told us. So yeah, definitely appreciate you, Morgan.
Yeah, so do I. So is that actually how you met? Because she was live painting at one of your shows?
Yes.
Okay.
Our first show, yeah, at Blip Roasters in Kansas City.
How, a year and a half ago?
Yep, that would have been probably, you know what, I may be stretching it, maybe about a year.
Okay.
Because I think our first show was last March. Actually.
So you guys didn't know each other prior, haven't known each other that long.
Nope.
Yet something about the dude and you made her think, hey, you should reach out to this guy.
Yeah, and I mean, and she's suggested us for other shows. Like, I mean, I don't know. I really respect her and what she does. And I think she just likes us. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yep,
I
really appreciate it.
Man, I enjoyed talking with her. Kind of one of these deals, like, not all the time, but sometimes when I open the front door, it's like there's sort of a wash of good vibe coming. I'm like, okay, cool. This is going to be chill, nothing to worry about, because in the beginning it was friends and family and people I knew from my life in the restaurant industry, but for the big majority of these, perfect stranger when I opened that door, the front door for the first time. So they're not all amazing. Like, there's been a couple where I'm like, man, this is rough trying to get anything going here. And
like I said, we've only been doing this like 6 months, but especially being an amateur, like, I've already had a couple people on, like musicians, and you ask them something and it's just crickets. like what do you? Yeah, you can't even lead them down the road.
But you got to keep it moving forward, right?
And especially ours is live, on the radio. So
yeah, I can fix shit. Well, thank you again. I'm looking forward to seeing the next chapter or chapters of Stone Eagle, and the single Sirens and the EP Backside of the Mountain. Yep. They're out there on the streaming platforms. Yep. Keep tabs on the Facebook page, and I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having us. Yeah. Appreciate what you do, man, and giving people an avenue to get a little, publicity.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, man. Very cool. Thanks. Very cool, fun thing tonight.
We'll talk to you soon.